What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unhinged Talk. As usual, I'm your host, Patrick Hennessy. We got a special guest today. We got Kyle Kondor, John Boy Media. How we doing tonight, Kyle?
Not good.
We could be a lot better.
Dude, we were texting like, I don't know, an hour and a half ago. We were all pumped, like, yeah, we're going live. Like, it looks like the Yankees are going to get this comfortable win. And that happened pretty damn quick, dude.
Yeah. I mean, let's just say that the Yankees were riding high tonight, 4-0 lead early. We thought we kind of had it in the bag at that point because we were looking at this team early on in the game. We're like, wow, this is the first time in a while they're scoring runs early. The offense looks good. And once again, the bullpen shits the bed.
Yeah, dude. They had that 4-run second inning, and I think I tweeted that that's the best offensive inning the Yankees have had in a long time. Like since before the COVID stuff happened with the Mets. Yep. And then they went the next like 4 innings without a hit. And I was like, oh no, here we go again. And even in the first few innings when J-Hap wasn't allowing any runs, I could tell it was going to go downhill because he was still getting hit pretty hard. The ball was just going right at people and stuff like that. So, man, that was tough, dude.
Yeah, it was brutal. I mean, part of me kind of expected the bullpen to implode just because they usually do. But, like, looking at this game and how we gave that up like it was nobody's business, this gets me thinking that, to be completely honest with you, I don't have confidence going in against any team at this point. We're facing the Orioles in a 4-game series now this weekend. Yeah. I don't have 1 ounce of confidence in my body heading into that series like I normally would against the Orioles.
Dude, same. Like, I just now thought about that. Like, you have to give me a break here because I'm registering a lot of stuff that just happened to me so quickly. Like, had we hung on to that and won, let's say 6-1 or even like 6-2 or 6-3, I'd be in here like, yeah, dude, like now we're about to play the Orioles. Like we're going to take 3 of 4 against them. And then we have this easy schedule the rest of the way. And we're smooth sailing. We're the Yankees again. We're going to take it into October. Everybody's going to be back healthy. Now, dude, I'm like, let's hope we hold on to second place.
But even we're looking at third place at this point. I mean, because the Blue Jays are getting hot. They have a good young core.
Do we play them 10 times?
10 times. 10 times for the rest of the season. Like I'm pretty sure it's 10.
God, dude. That's going to be tough, and those games are going to be big. Now, at the end of the day, you look at it like this. We get second place, you get a 4, 5, or 6 seed, and you play probably the White Sox or the Astros in the first round. You get the 7 or the 8 seed, and you're either playing the A's or the Rays, God forbid.
And, please no.
Yeah, in the first round. But at the end of the day, what huge difference does it make whether you're playing the A's or the Rays or the Astros or the White Sox? I mean, all 4 of those teams are pretty good. One's not that much better than the other. And that's pretty much the whole thing we've all been harping on all season is 8 teams make the playoffs this year. So it's just a different scenario now than we're used to. I mean, dude, if only 5 teams were making the playoffs in the American League like usual, we would be sweating right now.
I'd be ripping the hair out of my head.
Yeah.
Strand by strand.
I would say this too. I don't think they would be toying around with the injured list quite as much as they are if that were the case. I think guys like Glaber would already be back, and I don't think a guy like Britton would have seen the IL to begin with, and maybe the first time Judge got hurt, they would have never put him on the IL if he said he was good and stuff like that. Of course, we saw that just come melting down after he came back again. But I don't know. The Yankees definitely toy around with the IL a little bit. It's pretty clear at this point. I don't think they would be doing that if only 5 teams made the playoffs. Now, they're going to cruise into the playoffs this year. We're not looking at the division at all anymore. That's an.
Could you imagine they don't make the playoffs? Could you imagine?
No.
Let's say the Tigers make the playoffs and the Yankees don't. I wouldn't be shocked at this point. At the rate we're going at, I wouldn't be shocked.
Dude, there's no way.
I mean, there's a very slim possibility, especially with the way this team is built right now. And that kind of leads me into my next thing here. The bullpen. absolutely atrocious. I mean, going into the season, we looked at this team as having probably one of the top 3 best bullpens in baseball. Canely, Ottavino, Britton, Chapman. And now we only lost Canely, if you really think about it. And the bullpen is atrocious. I do not trust one guy in that bullpen in a tight situation. Britton was that guy before he got injured, and Ottavino is always shaky. You know, he has sometimes he's an ace, sometimes he's not. Chapman, we haven't been able to trust him at all this season since he came back from the COVID stint. And then who else do we have? Holder, Sessa.
Did you mention Chad Green yet?
Oh yeah, Chad. I completely forgot about Chad Green. That's another one.
So fucking good for like the beginning.
That's what I'm saying. He was literally lights out every time Chad Green would come in for the first 3 weeks. He was lights out, and now he sucks.
And not joking about him being in the Cy Young conversation.
No, I know. I was saying the same thing. I'm like, if Chad Green keeps us up all season, he's putting himself in the Cy Young conversation. If he keeps pitching like Mariano Rivera, which he was for a solid 2 weeks, and then he had the awful stint where we gave up a home run to Freddie Freeman, and then he shit the bed against the Mets. It's like we cannot trust anyone out of this bullpen.
All I can do is laugh about it.
That's all you could do. I tweeted that out today. I said the Yankees are so bad at this point. All you could do is just laugh about it. Because
toward the end of that game, I tweeted like 3 or 4 times just about how bad both teams were in these 6 games. Like those were the ugliest baseball games ever.
Brutal.
Like they were exciting, came down to the wire, walk off this, grand slam that. It doesn't matter because they were just such ugly games, dude. They were horrible.
Yeah.
They were close because both teams sucked.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. Like you said on Twitter, I mean, this was a perfect example of both teams trying to lose. Like neither team was like beating the other one. They were just giving games away. I mean, the Mets blew a 5-run lead with 2 outs.
I think I saw 2 fans, Yankees and Mets, arguing just now before we went live about which team was worse, and they were arguing against their own favorite team. And like dude, that's perfect.
Yeah,
I'm down for that. I'll argue that the Yankees are worse than the Mets right now.
I would say they are. Because you look at the Mets on paper, their lineup's not bad at all.
Yeah,
their rotation's a little sketch, but so is the Yankees.
Yeah, dude, both teams suck.
But the thing is, like, the Yankees went into the season with crazy expectations. The Mets did not. The Mets were kind of like a dark horse in the National League. The Yankees were World Series favorites. So the fact that we're on the same page as them scares me a lot. It's brutal. But
it's so bad.
Let's
go ahead.
I was gonna say let's get to our next point here, but if you had another
I want to get a quick 30 seconds of Pete Alonso stuff off my chest.
Go for it. That's your boy.
Before we started live, that dude had 2 of the biggest swings in all 6 of these games. There were a lot of big swings in these games because they were just horrible. And then somebody went yard and changed the entire course of the series throughout the whole thing. Aaron Hicks had a big swing. Gary Sanchez had a big swing. Pete Alonso had 2 of the biggest swings in the series. And I ate shit for that on Twitter because I've been his biggest hater all season. The fact of the matter is this. The guy was awful outside of those 2 swings. Awful. Yeah. Like errors, strikeouts all over the field. The dude sucked. So like, am I eating shit because of 2 swings? Sure. But at the end of the day, the guy is still having a pathetic season. Yeah. And we entered this season. You just got done saying the Mets weren't that excited about anything entering the year. One thing they were excited about was Pete Alonso. And the guy has been horrible. So, like, I'll eat shit a little bit because he had 2 big swings. But outside of that, the guy still sucks.
I mean, that's the risky game you play. I mean, when you talk trash about somebody, you just got to get ready for the times when they do fire back at your own team. And no one could have expected Pete Alonso to give the Yankees the 2 biggest daggers of the season series against the Mets. But that's the game you play. I mean, it's basically like gambling, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing about baseball, too, is that in baseball, a guy can be terrible, and hit this huge home run.
Anything can happen.
Yeah, let's say we're playing basketball. I mean, sure, buzzer beater, stuff like that's kind of fun. But if a guy's playing awful, like he's 2 for 11 from the field with 7 points, and he makes a 3 in the fourth quarter to give himself now 10 points. You're not like, oh, I told you. Like, you know, it doesn't work that way. It just works that way in baseball.
He's still batting barely over 200 this season.
Yeah,
so let's see him get a little bit higher before we talk trash.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get into a little bit of a reflection on the Rays series at this point, because this pains me. John Boy, your boss, he did a great breakdown of the whole Yankees Rays rivalry the past few years. It goes deep. It goes all the way back to 2018. Andrew Kittredge threw a ball at Austin Romine's head. CeCe came back. It goes deep with the Rays. The Yankees had a little bit of an altercation with them. Was it Tuesday night at this point? Yeah, Tuesday night. Chapman threw a ball at the head of Mike Brosseau, who has been the Yankees' killer all season. They didn't take too kindly to it. Bench is cleared. He's been good. He's been good.
Numbers. He's been really good this year.
Yeah, he's killed, especially us. Though.
I didn't realize until after all that happened because I wasn't.
Yeah, he's been solid. He's been solid. Yeah. But bench is cleared after that, and Kevin Cash had a choice of words for the Yankees after the game, saying that he has a stable of guys who throw 98, and Boone kind of just responded with that. Those are scary comments. That's a topic we'll discuss later on today. But next game yesterday, the Rays came out early and killed the Yankees. I mean, it was a slaughter fest. Jordan Montgomery couldn't get out of the first inning. It was painful. But heading into the season, I personally was not scared of the Rays, but now I am. They're a huge threat. Looking at them on paper, they doesn't look like they have that good of a team, but they always find a way to beat the Yankees. They're leading the American League. They're solid. So what are your thoughts on like the whole Rays-Yankees situation right now?
It's funny because they started slow and the Yankees started hot. So even like 2 weeks into the season, we're all like, I told you. But that's the way baseball is once again. Like, you just can't talk too soon. We thought we could because it's a 60-game season, yada, yada, yada. Now, here we are. And one thing we were all saying about the Rays is their lineup is pretty weak. They only have Austin Meadows, this and that. Now, mind you, Austin Meadows wasn't there for the first couple weeks because of COVID stuff. And Brandon Lau started to hit like an MVP. G-Man Choi owns the Yankees' prized possession in Garrett Cole. Joey Wendell, who's a guy that I'm personally familiar with because I worked at the college he went to, Westchester University out in PA. And he's like the pride of Chester. He's been pretty good this year. Sugo and Manny Margot, guys have stepped up for them that have made them legit. And that bullpen, dude, is ridiculous, bro.
Even with all the injuries.
Yeah. We all watch baseball a little bit differently. I've said this to many people before. I don't know if I've said this to you yet. We all watch baseball differently. One way I watch it is I love when our hitters make an opposing pitcher work because it means that they're going to have to get taken out, and it makes a coach make a decision they didn't feel like making, and they have to bring in a reliever who, one, might suck, two, might not be ready to come in. The thing is, when you face the Rays, dude, they always have another guy who's just nasty coming out of that bullpen. It's just like, you got to be kidding me, dude. Like, I thought when we worked Blake Snell out of this game, we were going to have to face some bum. And then I thought when we worked that reliever out of the game, we were going to have to face a bum. But they've got Chaz Rowe and Diego Castillo, and the list goes on and on and on. They're just relentless.
It's crazy. It's crazy the arms that they produce.
That team's good, dude. I'm ready to
admit
it.
They're stacked.
That team's very good.
But one thing I'm not okay with is the fact that we might have to face them in the postseason.
Yeah.
Especially if the Yankees keep falling down on the seeding ranking. We might be looking at them in the first round, and that would be an absolute worst case scenario for the Yankees.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen. I know I mentioned it already, but it's possible.
Anything's possible. Kyle, anything's possible, my man.
It's possible.
But that kind of leads me into my next thing, and I'm going to put one of these comments here on the screen. I didn't watch the post-game press conference, but apparently Aaron Boone said that the team does not need a pep talk. What are your thoughts on Boone? Because personally, I think that he's very lackadaisical. I think at times when this team needs kind of a kick in the ass per se, he's not that guy who's going to give it to them. And going back to Kevin Cash's comments, and I said that Boone responded by saying that those are scary comments. I think it shows a sign of weakness. I know he kind of couldn't really fire back at that point, especially because Yankees brass would have been pissed. But I don't know. I don't know if he's the right guy for this young core that's aging very quickly, and he does have an option at the end of the year. So
it's funny because we came from the guy who was tough, right? The older guy, Girardi, yada yada. I don't know, man. We are seeing some of Boone's true colors this year. He's been put to the test even harder than he was last year. Last year, it's a longer season, and the next man up thing worked. This year, it's definitely not. To put it all on Boone is ridiculous because pitchers have performed poorly when we didn't expect them to. Tonight being a prime example. The bats have been insanely quiet. They just showed that graphic on the Yes Network today of all the guys who have been batting under 200 since
crazy
XYZ date. It's like half a month now that a list of like 10 guys have all been batting under 200. So that's not something a manager can control. The injuries a manager can't control. But, dude, he's been really bad in some situations. Today, did you let it happen too long? Yesterday even. Dude, I don't care what you have to do. It was so obvious that Jordan Montgomery was awful after like the first 3 hitters. Now, mind you, if that's the playoffs, I think Jordan Montgomery's gone after like batter number 2. I think
he wasn't managing yesterday.
Oh, that's right. He wasn't managing yesterday. Yeah. So that's right. You're right. Yeah. Today, I think he left it happen too long. There was the start where Happ was shoving and he took him out. And Adam Ottavino lets up the game-tying home run. He's been really put to the test this year, and he's been failing. He's been one of like 4 main parts of the team that you could put a lot of blame on. And the team doesn't need a pep talk, dude.
I mean, that's a really tough comment.
I'll go in there and start screaming at people because, dude, they need somebody to like fire them up. Like, I don't know who it's going to be. I'm not saying it needs to be Aaron Boone. Maybe like a Phil Nevin, more of like a talker. But it could have been a CC Sabathia. He's not around anymore. Maybe a Didi Gregorius to give something heartfelt to the team. He's not around anymore. I don't know, man. How about I ask you a question? If you could think of one guy in that clubhouse that would really like fire them up, like let's fucking go, who would it be? Because I can't really think of somebody that quick off the top of my head.
I mean, it's tough for us to kind of say that because we're not in the clubhouse and we don't know the rules in the clubhouse.
But
if I could assume
he's not there,
if I could assume who that guy would be, I would say Phil Nevin. Only because he was that guy in 2018 in Detroit to do that to the team when Boone was kind of non-existent. And to say that they don't need a pep talk at this point is a ludicrous statement.
Yeah.
Obviously we don't know 100% if he actually did say that, but if he did, that's ludicrous. But player-wise, who would say that, especially with Judge gone?
I don't know, Voit.
I was going to say Voit, especially with Judge gone now. I would consider Voit one of the leaders of that clubhouse. He has the energy, he has the passion, he has the heart. He's one of the few guys in that lineup who I see heart out of every night. The guy's playing through a foot injury.
Yeah.
That would put most of the other guys in the lineup on the injured list.
Or how about like a Gardy stepping up and saying, I suck right now.
Yeah.
Like having accountability, like I suck. Here's what we need to do. I've been in this league for 12 years.
But it doesn't look like he has given that. When I saw a quote on Yes Network's Twitter today, and he just said, as a team, we need to improve. Rather than like taking accountability and being like, yeah, I'm not that guy right now. And I'm supposed to be a 4th outfielder, but due to all these injuries, I'm starting every day. So I need to pick up the pace a little bit. And I need to be the veteran leader in this clubhouse because I've been on the roster for like 11 years, 12 years at this point. So like this should be your team, Gardy. Like Judge shouldn't be that guy. He's been around for 3 years, and I understand he's the best player, but you're supposed to be the veteran guy at this point.
Yeah.
And it's tough. But so let me hit you with a tough question.
Okay.
It's a yes or no answer. If you're Brian Cashman, are you picking up Aaron Boone's option for next season?
Oh, dude. Whew. Yes. Because, I don't know. Who am I to say? Who are you going to replace him with?
I mean, I have a guy who I kind of like. I don't know if he would make a good manager, but give me Mark DeRosa. I know he was a
TV
finalist for the
guy?
Mets job. Well, he was a finalist for the Mets job, so he's got to have something with him.
Another TV guy?
I
What's
think he
the
would be a
difference
good
between Mark
personality in the
DeRosa and
clubhouse.
Aaron Boone?
What's the difference? I think Mark DeRosa actually has some sort of emotion behind him. Boone is, I don't know. I feel like he just wants to be their friend.
Let's pretend we're in the offseason and there's really a manager search going on. What's going to happen is this. It's exactly what's happening to us right now. I asked you, who would you replace him with? It's going to be a bunch of us screaming back and forth on Twitter. I want David Cohn. I want
CC Sabathia.
CC Sabathia, like guys we all know of. Really, what we're going to actually need is probably someone that we've all never thought of.
Yeah.
So, like some tough guy who just comes out of nowhere and it's like, oh, yeah, like this analytical dude. Kind of like how we were looking for a pitching coach this offseason, and we ended up with Matt Blake when we were all saying all these different names we've all heard of before.
I mean, at the end, none of us know anything. That's the true thing. I mean,
I don't know, man, because if you let Boone go, we're just going to be looking for another Girardi, and that's what we all just moved on from.
I was never Girardi's biggest fan, but Boone makes me really miss Girardi. I hate to say it, but I do. I miss Girardi. I miss the fire.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not that big on manager stuff because at the end of the day, a lot of people, you'll see this take on Twitter a lot. The manager's just a face, the PR guy these days. And
well, that's what Boone is, yeah.
Yeah. So how much is really on Boone? Who the hell knows?
It's true. I mean, we don't know what goes on in the clubhouse.
If he really did come out and say the team doesn't need a pep talk, then he needs to get better at what he's supposed to be doing, like being the PR guy.
Yeah, I agree. But let's hit on our last key point I want to hit on here. This is kind of just a prediction. Can't be right, can't be wrong unless you're psychic. Actually, you are psychic. You almost predicted Tanaka's his stat line the other night, right?
On your page.
Yeah, you almost got that. So maybe you are psychic.
It's funny because I just chimed in. I'm like, let me throw some love. Like, let me throw Unhinged some love here.
But yeah, where do you see the Yankees finishing off this season? I mean, I'll give my input after you do, but I want to hear what you think the end goal is going to be for this team this year.
I think they're showing exactly hiding. I think they want to skate into this year's playoffs because that's what the league allowed them to do, as 8 American League teams will make it. They are perfectly fine with just making it. And I also think that we're going to end up in a bubble. So home field advantage isn't going to matter at all, other than having, like, I don't know what, the second at-bats in the game, or maybe in the bubble they'll up the crowd noise for the home team and stuff like that. They'll give the home team the walk-up music, stuff like that. I can see that being a thing. But at the end of the day, what does that really matter? Everybody's going to be sleeping in a hotel and stuff like that because we're going to be tucked away in, like, Texas somewhere. So I think they're proving to us that they just want to skate into this year's playoffs. And sadly, I think we're going to go through exactly what happened last year, which is they're going to take all these guys off the IL as soon as the playoffs start. And we're going to get this shiny looking Yankees lineup that features Judge and Giancarlo and everybody healthy. You know, everybody's going to be back. Paxton's going to come back. It's like, at this point, what does that really matter? And really what it's just going to be is a lineup full of guys who have not played together all season long. It's going to be a whole new look for us. And that kind of slapped us in the face in the Houston series last year because it didn't click. It didn't work. So I'm not going to be happy about it, but I think that's what we're going to get is a very healthy Yankees team that limps into the playoffs at, like, what are we now, 20-16? We'll say we end up, I don't know, 35-25, and we are going to get second place. We're going
optimistic.
We're going to be the 5 or the 6 seed. Well, what does that make us the rest of the way? 15-9? 15-9. So that's not too crazy.
Yeah, it's reasonable.
Right? Yeah, 15-9 the rest of the way because we have a pretty shitty schedule. We do have a shitty schedule. We play the Blue Jays a lot, so I guess they could be tough.
Don't forget the Marlins are fighting for first place too, so they're going to have something to play for.
The Marlins, they're not that good. Yeah, they're not that good. So we have a pretty shitty schedule. I say we go 15-9 the rest of the way. We end up with like a 5 or a 6 seed. We are playing the White Sox in the first round. Or can you imagine we play the Twins again? Because that's very possible too.
No, because the Twins are actually a lower seed than we are at this point.
I know, but that AL Central is just like a mishmash of like 3 teams.
Yeah.
So those 3 are going to be all sorts of all over the place. They're all going to make the playoffs. So it could be
the Twins scare me though with our pitching.
I don't like to look at the past, but like God, dude, we just own them.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I think we own them because in Yankee Stadium with the Yankee crowd during playoff time. So once you get like the alternate site in San Diego and you have no fans, I don't know if the Twins might be able to capitalize on us there. But it's a tricky scenario no matter who we play.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what round do you think we're making it to? Think we get out of the first?
Yes. If we play the Twins or the White Sox, I say we get out of the first. If we play against a team like the Indians and all that good young pitching they have, I'd be very worried. I don't think the White Sox – what's going to beat the Yankees is pitching at the end of the day. Now, mind you, I say this in the midst of a time when our hitting is horrible, like just pathetic. But I think you get a guy like Judge back or Giancarlo. Glaber's coming back soon. There's no way he's going to struggle like he was in the beginning. So we're going to be hitting soon. We are going to be hitting soon. I mean, shoot, there's no way Garrett Cole's going to be bad the whole season. Dude, I'm talking myself into actually liking what we got. Like,
that's all you need sometimes.
I didn't mean for this to happen. I was getting ready to say some negative shit today, but like as I'm talking and saying all these names out loud, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe this.
We just need them to perform. We have the names. We just need them to perform and be healthy.
We need like 75% of our good guys to be as good as they can be. Right now, like 20% of our good guys are as good as they can be. Mind you, like half of them are on the IL. But
if we get into the playoffs and we have Garrett Cole pitching how he can, and we get Judge, Stanton, and Glaber all healthy back in the lineup, this is an entirely different Yankees team. Once we see that, we might see a team that has the potential of still winning the World Series this year. Now, obviously, these are hypothetics. We don't know if Judge is going to be back healthy. We don't know if Stan's going to be back healthy. And when they do come back, we don't know how long they're going to be back for. Yeah. So on the completely optimistic side, yes, this team has the potential to still win the World Series. On the totally pessimistic side, they could possibly not even make the playoffs. So it's really, you could flip-flop either way. I mean, you can make any prediction you want.
You're realistic. Looking at it realistically, they get through the first round smoothly, past like the White Sox or the Twins. The second round, that would mean they either face Oakland or Tampa?
Probably one of those two.
And I'm still fairly confident against a team like Oakland. It's going to be a big matchup thing for me.
I'm not confident against Tampa, though. Like, if we go up against Tampa, we're screwed.
Yeah, you can't be right now. Now, not to say they can't beat them, because they could, dude. Give me a great Garrett Cole, and you win game 1 against them.
I think Tampa's in their head, though. At this point, I think they're in their head.
But who's their head? Because we're losing to them with a AAA team. If the playoffs start and we have Giancarlo and Aaron Judge and Glaber.
Read this comment, Kyle. The Yankees have 0 chance to win the World Series. That's according to Joseph Sperano. So if they do win the World Series, I'm expecting a very nice message in my DMs, please. But go on with what you're saying.
Yeah, that's family right there. So, yeah, man. But you also said that they have what you said is optimistically they can win the World Series. Pessimistically, they can miss the playoffs. Both things are as radical as one another.
Sure, yeah. And then there's that middle ground, like you said, like making it past the first round, then getting eliminated by a team like Oakland or Tampa.
That is where we stand right now. That is where the Yankees stand right now. As things currently stand, what we're looking at is the Yankees team that wins the first round of the playoffs. They take that best-of-3 series, and then they lose in the second round to either Tampa or Oakland.
Yep. That's most likely what we're looking at.
But we can go back and forth all day because realistically, they can lose in the first round. Realistically, they can win that second round. But the chances they beat, listen to how crazy this sounds. The chances they beat Minnesota in the first round, and then Tampa in the second round, and Oakland in the third round, and the Dodgers in the World Series, that sounds absolutely insane. So when you lay it out like that, dude, this team has zero chance to win the World Series as it currently stands. Talk to me. You know what? Talk to me in 3 weeks because they might whoop the shit out of all these bad teams that they're going to play against. Glaber might come back red hot. Judge and Giancarlo might come back at some point, and we have an entirely different mindset, including Big Joe Sperano.
Yeah, so, I mean, the health is the key here. If the Yankees could stay healthy and remain healthy for the entirety of the postseason, they can be a dangerous team. But a topic for another day that I kind of just want to touch on here is that I really think they could have made a move at the deadline, especially looking at the current state of the pitching staff. Albert Abreu was forced to pitch the 10th inning tonight. That can't happen. Sometimes we have Luis Sessa, Jonathan Holder pitching late in big games. That can't be happening. So it kind of pisses me off that we didn't grab a pitcher like Archie Bradley, who practically got dealt for nothing, or even a bat. This team could have used a bat at this point as well because Tyler Wade's killing them.
Would have been pretty fun.
Starling Marte would have been fire. But, I mean, if we could have gotten Marte and Bradley from Arizona, that would have been beautiful.
Well, what do you have to give up for him? Because you don't want to give up Davey, especially with how good he looked the other day. Mind you, it's one start.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, though, Archie Bradley went to the Reds for 2 low-level prospects who weren't really worth anything.
Great point on one of their shows that they did, or somebody on their show, Jake or Trev, it might have been Trev, said that low-level prospects in their system are in their system. Like, what did the biggest piece the Padres gave up for Mike Clevenger was their number 7 prospect. Yeah, that's number 7 in the Padres system.
The Padres have a great system, though.
Yeah, their number 7 might have been like our number 2. So, like, for us to be sitting here like, well, they gave up this low-level prospect and they gave up that low-level prospect, that might have been a higher-level prospect for us to give up.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I guess I'm just –
Bradley makes that big of a difference either.
Sure, but who would you rather have pitching in a close game, Archie Bradley or Jonathan Holder?
Oh, dude.
I mean, who would you have rather had pitching in the 10th inning tonight?
I'll say Archie Bradley, but like I said, what's the difference, dude? Like,
I feel like they could have gotten someone.
But
yeah,
Archie Bradley's not that good. Archie Bradley had one like insane season. I think the rest of the way he's been just good, not great.
He's not good, but I feel like it would have been an improvement.
Sure, it would have been something, but would it have been enough to give up anybody good for? I don't know.
It's just painful for the second straight year to see the Yankees do diddly squat at the deadline. It's painful.
That's the hard.
It's hard because it makes it look like you guys aren't even trying. You just signed Garrett Cole, and then you're just like, there you go. You know,
this time next year, like I don't care what it is, they have to do something. You can't go 3 years in a row doing nothing.
Yeah. Give me someone. I mean, we can't keep prospect hugging and the financials. I mean, all we keep hearing about is the financials. This is the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
Why are we penny pinching? Come on now.
Turning in his grave.
Yeah, it's painful. But I think that's going to wrap it up for us today, unless you have something else you want to chime in.
Nah, man. I feel
awesome.
We hit on all the good points and stuff like that.
Yeah, we had a great chat about tonight's game, as painful as it was.
I would say this was kind of like therapy for me. Like I came into this expecting to be super pissed. What happened? Oh, when you texted me, you were like, this is not ideal. I said, not at all. And that's when the Mets tied it. And then we lost. So that makes it even less ideal. I said, I might say something that'll get myself in trouble.
I was like, you still want to do it? So we did it.
Yeah, I came on here and I talked myself into some good thoughts.
There you go. Sometimes Unhinged Talk is a therapy session.
Yeah.
But on that note, everyone be sure to go follow Kyle on Twitter at KyleNYY. I'm pretty sure that's all your social media handles, right?
Yeah, Instagram, Twitter. I mean, mainly just Twitter for me with the Yankee stuff.
But. Yeah, KyleNYY, John Boy Media. Great follow. Post some hot takes. Got some good tweets. But on that note, we will see you guys next time. Have a good night.